don't know if this thing is working. Let's see. So, if everything fails, I can't say I didn't try, but, it's Monday night. Who's ready for some sweet depression? I sure am. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, to be honest. I'm just out here. So, if you're tuned in, which I seriously doubt you are at this point, welcome. My life is about to get a little bit harder here in the next week, so I don't know. I guess I'm just running this little circle again. Burning out the midnight oil. So welcome to the stream. I'm just gonna be listening to some experimental music tonight. I've been getting pretty immersed in lots of different little nooks and crannies of electronic music recently in the spectrum off of the clubby side of electronic music, and I'm talking about like slower sampled music, vaporwave, drone, ambient. You know, I've already liked people like Aphex Twin for a while, so yeah, I mean, that's kind of just where it's going tonight. Tonight, underneath us, we got the Caretaker. He made, about a year ago, a 6-stage album. And the way this 6-stage album unfolded was based on the various levels of dementia that you experience up until the point that you die. Obviously, not fun. I listened to the entirety of it over the course of 2 days. It's a 6-hour and 30-minute long stage 1 to stage 6 thingamajigger. It is very intense. Stage 1 is beautiful. Just a gorgeous little album. Stage 2 is like stage 1, but kind of falling off a little bit in terms of like note placement and pitch bends, and it just subtly gets a little harsh. But by stage 3, I think a lot of the tracks heard in stage 1 become borderline, like you can tell they're just really falling apart. But I don't think stage 3 has anything on stage 4 and 5. I think 5 had probably the most horrific sounding track I've heard on the entire expanse of the albums. Let me check and see if I'm even getting a single damn comment on this. Probably not. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I'm just doing this because I just feel like it. So, without further ado, and me talking your goddamn ears off, let's listen to a little bit of the Caretaker, Everywhere at the End of Time, stage 1. In the off chance that someone joins the stream, let me know if the levels are good. I think they were good through recording, but if not, I'm willing to make adjustments. I don't know, stage 1 tracks are just so timeless on this thing. This is the bane of stage 1, this track right here. And the track titles, the way they unfold is super interesting too. Very abstract. This one's entitled It's Just a Burning Memory. I'll try and sample at least a little bit of each track from each stage. Not every single track, but the highlight ones in my opinion. Sorry about that audio doubling. So, you guys are tuned into a review, but I just want to give a little space for the music to kind of speak for itself here as well. I just want to talk real fast about the album artwork. It changes within the dementia stages. Stage 1, it looks like an actual object. You can tell it's a scroll. It's a paper scroll. The artist on these is Ivan Seal, and Ivan Seal is a abstract, very abstract artist. Some of the shit I've seen this man create is fucking mind-blowing, pardon my French, but basically the way the artwork unfolds, it slowly becomes things that you recognize but don't recognize. And this is a very interesting thing for dementia, the way it turns very familiar things, including your own reflection, to a completely unrecognizable mess. And that's, it kind of gives that feeling whenever you look at it. It's the feeling of less understanding. Now this is stage 3. This is artwork that I could, like, at this point I can't really tell what that is. Maybe that's a seaweed, but that seaweed don't even look like a damn seaweed. That shit looks like a glass that was heated up and just torn all over to hell in high places, man. It just, I can't tell what that thing is. But yeah, that's stage 3. By this time the tracks are just, well, I'll wait until we actually listen. Stage 4, I mean, yeah, it looks like a face, but the back of it is just, it's like it's dissolving. And that's what stage 4 sounds like, in my opinion, just dissolving. And yeah, if you're still tuned in, you're in for a treat with this album. I'm not playing the entire thing on stream. That's completely up to you to do, because this is something to turn the lights down, to maybe do a few house chores to and listen to. And the way the track titles change is fucking crazy too. Stage 5. This particular stage had probably the scariest track I've heard from stage 1 to stage 6, and maybe I can find the part whenever we get down to listening to that. But by stage 6, shit, just, you know. Well, we're gonna go back to stage 1 and start from the second track. I think this track was pretty good, but Late Afternoon Drifting kind of hit a little bit of a different note with me. I'm gonna skip this one. Not you. Not you. Oh my god. Late Afternoon Drifting. This one. Hey, shouts to the man Debased Chris locked in tonight. Not a lot of people are awake on a Monday night, not this late, but welcome to the stream, buddy. Just 1 second. Enjoy this track. See, these insects need to fuck off. Luckily, I can just take on any of them. This one, just the subtleties of it are so good. Like the way the key, hear this. It's so beautiful. Stage 1 really, you can feel, in my opinion, it's the perfect image of this kind-hearted old person that's remembering the glory days, and Stage 1 just kind of lays down that baseline for the album, and you'll hear recalls back to Stage 1 as you listen through the stages. They're very subtle. The only track on this that even kind of hints towards memory loss is Slightly Bewildered. The rest is just, as it describes, more of a daydream. Slightly Bewildered just has a lot more resonance. It sounds more distorted than the other tracks. Shouts to Bass Chris once again. I see you, brother. 4:24 a.m. That's 4 minutes after weed time. Oh shit. Weed time. Pouring up the sake for you guys. So, Slightly Bewildered just has that little bit of off placement, I think, that kind of sets in the tone. That you really are kind of steering for something. It's ambiguous. It's ambiguous at this point in the album. And hey, shouts to Hakeem. This fucking album. We're live reviewing The Caretaker everywhere at the end of time, and this was an album that, as I previously mentioned, probably it took me 2 days to finish. It's not really an album; it's multiple. This one has to be one of my favorites off of Stage 1 for sure. It kind of has like a lo-fi hip-hop vibe, I won't lie. Yeah, exactly. It had my heart feeling heavy whenever I finished the second half today, because you watch something beautiful turn into something so nonsensical, both visually and audibly, and just the track titles add to all of it. I have to say, The Caretaker's probably a genius. I was trying to check if YouTube was turned up. I didn't mean to like flip it there. Anywho, it's a really gorgeous track. I could listen to that for a while, but we got other things to hear here as well. There is one track, I don't remember which one it was. It wasn't that one. Was it My Heart Will Stop in Joy? See, what fucks me up about this album is whether or not that track was the one I was supposed to click on. I can't stop myself from hearing the entirety of the track because there's just something so extremely capturing about all this music. And like it's either on stage 2 or it has to be within stage 1 or stage 2, but there was another track on here that just really blew my mind, particularly just the reverb. Let the music speak. This one's called What Does It Matter How My Heart Breaks. This was on stage 2, probably one of my more favorited tracks on stage 2. Here you're starting to see that first thinning layer of confusion kind of settling in. You can even kind of hear how it's detuned a little bit. So it's like, what does it matter how my heart breaks? I know for sure one of my favorite tracks on here though was I Still Feel As Though I Am Me. Surrendering to Despair, Glimpses of Hope in Trying Times. Glimpses of Hope in Trying Times puts a nice little spin on stage 2 because it's not so beautiful. It's just kind of like dark and churny and dun dun dun. Really good track. But I Still Feel As Though I Am Me is a zinger, I gotta say. Da, 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 da. Let's go forward to I Still Feel As Though I Am Me. This one's sweet. It's like the last clinging bit until things start getting crazy. Like by stage 3, stage 4 is just really breaking apart. I see somebody named Jacob Scola, brother. I miss you, man. Welcome to the stream if you're still watching. This one just climbs in so nice. I love that. I love the way this comes in. Oh, the way this horn rolls out on top of this low bass. Oh, see, here is what's so innovative about this track. It's one of my favorites still off of stage 2, and there's notes literally out of place halfway through the song, and that's just because there's something is kind of sinking in stage 2. It's like it's denial. Oh my god, this track. Oh my god, this fucking track. Oh, it is gorgeous. Da, 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 da. I'd have to say, in general, over between stage 1 and stage 6, this might be one of my favorite, if not my absolute favorite track. And that's over 6 hours and 30 minutes. So you can tell I really like that. Da, 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 da. It's just so subtle. It's subtle enough to off-put you, but put you on. I don't know how else to describe it. So damn good. But that was I Still Feel As Though I Am Me. The Way Ahead Feels Lonely. I kind of forgot what that one sounds like. Hold on. Let me have a little sample. This was the last one on stage 2. This one just barely resembles anything from the stage 1. Like, it doesn't... Yeah, this one has a whole different vibe than all the other tracks before it, for sure. I just gotta appreciate the depth of like the sound design, because like this track was made within a year ago, and there's a lot of elements being taken advantage of here, a lot of different eras of music. And there's something to embody each little mood, each little cadence that the track wishes to carry. Every step in the albums is very well thought out. It's like some theater performance coming to a close. That's what it sounds like to me. Ooh. Oh, wow. Oh, the way it just bellows out at the bottom right there. Oof. I'd say stage 3 has probably some of the most interesting tracks, because the way it's just transitioning from stage 1 into something a lot more confusing, it's perfect. It's perfect. Let me see here. We're gonna slowly bring The Way Ahead Feels Lonely out, and then we'll move on to stage 3 here. There are some tracks I'm not as familiar per se with stage 3. I listened to all of stage 3, but I haven't listened to it twice. Stage 1 and stage 2 I've at least rinsed twice. So I do remember stage 3 having particular tracks that caught my interest most. Now, at the beginning of stage 3, you can really tell things are being brought down to another level, like another tick. just the music becomes far more reverby. Ooh, like the thing is with these melodies, they get so stuck in your head. It's haunting just how well they get mended into your head from the beginning, from the get. So whenever you progress later on into the album, it hits you so much harder. Hearing your own mind go into the shitter. That's what it feels like. That's what this whole experience feels like. Dun, 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 dun. Oh. So fucking good. See, but stage 3 starts on a pretty low note. It doesn't really start on the hyperactive ass crazy bended into the astral world kind of shit. It's not there yet. Stage 5, you'll hear frightening shit. You'll hear dumb frightening shit. Three of you fellers are passionate about music on Monday night. Based heart reacts, sending them on back. I'll pour up another glass of sake to that one. Actually, you know what? I think I'm gonna go grab my other sake. Just settle here, enjoy this music for a second. I'm gonna skip forward to something. And Heartbreaks, I believe, felt as well as sounded really good. Let me go get another glass of sake, but not this. That's important. All right. Easily fading that one out. Let's head on to And Heartbreaks and listen to what this one sounded like. Kind of didn't start there at the very beginning. Let me try to. This one. This is the one. Shouts to Jesse. Welcome, brother. Now, moving on to another flavor, both in music and in sake. This one, you can just hear it breaking up. That little bit that you should be concerned, because the keys, they're just kind of, you hear them, they're like dropping out. Just the little, you know, I'm really intrigued by how this album was produced. It was almost as if it was, okay, so it's like each frequency was kind of sculpted out to be distorted in such a certain way across the board that it gives off a more fluid stereo sound. I know that may not make sense, but what I'm trying to say is, if in theory that this album is sampled, which I highly assume it is, it seems to me that the Caretaker would have grabbed stems and gave instruments more emphasis with certain effects over other ones, and that is why the song reverberates out so clearly, that the frequencies are reaching out in different directions and it's more easy to identify the way sounds reverberate. this track in particular is a beauty for that little quality I just described. Da, da, da. Now, if that doesn't bring out something, then I don't know what does. So here you really start seeing that advanced dementia is taking place, but the way it sort of unfolds is through these track titles and tracks that are slowly becoming more fucked and more fucked. Libet is a previously used track title, but also I've noticed some of these track title names have carried over to another album of his entitled, and I don't mean directly like exactly the same as this album, but they've had spins put on them. With the Caretakers and Empty Bliss Beyond This World, that album had some similar track titles to this one, and I wonder if there's like a connection. Da, 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 da. Okay, Jesse, so about my sake. So here in Oklahoma, there is a little Asian district that has a beautiful supermarket. Ooh, hold on, let me hear that one more time. Now the ending of this track is very interesting to me. The way it reverbs out and the little click clacks, that ching, 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 ching. You can hear you feel the mental strands, like the memories just are breaking apart. That's what it feels like, especially the way it reverbs out. Just listen. That's nice. That is actually a nice little trickle effect at the end of that track. I think that's why I like this so much, honestly. That little bit and just the way it dips in and out. And the tracks just get crazier. Hidden sea, buried deep. I forgot how good this sounds. Like the bass response on the low end, like whenever it's ducking in and out of the frequencies. Ooh, it just sounds so good. Anyways, Jesse, to answer your question, I get my sake from a little Asian district here in Oklahoma. It's has this really nice market called Super Cow Win, and I get import sake from there, but I also buy stuff online. Tipsy Sake is a really good website. That's where I got my Midland import sake from, and that's what I was sipping on, but now I've moved over to Nagori. This is also import, I believe. Very nice. This track just now little things like that too, like the way the track just ended abruptly. Whenever I was first listening to that, like that just added a little bit to it that was like, oh shit, you know, it's like whoa, wait, and that's another little bit I like about this music here. I'd say stage 3 generally has some of the most interesting spins on what stage 1 had. Like here you can hear a repeat of a track from the very beginning of the album, I believe. Actually, Libet's all joyful camaraderie. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Ooh. Now, from a vaporwave perspective, this album is kind of genius. Though this is nothing like the typical slowed down 80s music, it's just a different kind of, whole different kind of beast, and that's what I appreciate about it. Really, let me just wheel this up a little bit. One more time. Dun 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 dun. Ooh. Dun 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 dun. Hey, shouts to Jesse. Have a good night, brother. We're gonna keep the review going, and whenever you wake up tomorrow, you can watch the rest of it if you feel like it. Big ups, man, for tuning in. Have a good night, brother. Oh, dun, 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 dun. Oh. Tracks, once you pick them up in this album, are very hard to put down. And that's something I can always appreciate about a good album. Like a good... Dun, dun, dun. There's some side of the slow, sampled side of me that enjoys that little repetitive, that little ongoing repetitive goodness in this album. Like, and I felt it with the new stuff I've been listening to on Bandcamp, especially. There's a whole slew. There's probably maybe 5 or 6 albums I've heard recently that I should review at some point if I ever feel like it. That kind of embody the same kind of vibe, at least by stage 3. But this turns into something way more horrifying later on. We're just enjoying the last of the coherent bits. By stage 4, things become way less apparent. Stage 5, horrifying. Stage 6, just blank. And we can only just venture deeper into this album. Well, let's keep on going. To the minimal great hidden. Now, I think the distortion effects on this track are very creative. The way the keys break up under that big crusher is... It's not so obvious. It's so vinyl, analog sounding. It's not such a digital sounding sort of effect. It's very organic. And just, what was the track title? To the minimal great hidden. This one has a whole different kind of vibe in comparison with the rest of the album, for sure. It's an energy that keeps on shifting. Yeah, it's a nice little slow paced one, but honestly a little slow paced, too much in my opinion. Sublime Beyond Loss. Now one that really interests me is Bewildered in Other Eyes. I forget what this one sounded like. Okay, this one's actually when the Nightmare Realm kind of energy starts settling in. I don't know what they call it whenever you can see faces and things, but I know it's a big part of abstract art. With this particular album art, I can straight up see some cartoon horse face turned in towards the viewer, and it doesn't have any eyes either. It's kind of scary. In this track, the way it falls off with the delays in the keys. The way those keys sizzle off on the delay there. This is, I think, in the album, the point where things are a lot more apparent that they're going wrong. It's an album I can for sure just stay engaged with morbidly, just out of the curiosity. It's something that I'm seeing a lot of faces in this art, to be honest. Like I said, when you can see faces in abstract art, in this particular album art, especially since it's full screened on my desktop, like I can see like whole forms of like people standing with faces, and it's nothing I have witnessed before in this album art, like any of the album arts. Shit, that's one crazy discovery to make at this time of night. What is it, 2 in the morning? Oh, that's murky. Shit. Hey, shouts to Facebook for making a more effective Facebook Live comment section. Thank you. Now it scrolls down to see the newest message. I don't need to continuously scroll up. This track is... See... One thing I find particularly interesting as well about this album is all the tracks seem to resemble each other without resembling each other at the same time. They're kind of hard to differentiate, though they all have a very different kind of tone and vibe to them. Even some of them are just repeats of one another, but it makes you question other tracks, whether they were a part of another track before, and that within itself is kind of like a dementia-like state, is you forget whether this thing had relevance to the last thing, and that feeling settles in throughout the stages. Like that's very effective, the way the Caretaker implements that. That's all I wanted to say. Let's go. Long-term dust glimpses was that one. Now this next one I'm kind of interested in because I forget what it sounds like, but the track title is very interesting. Gradations of Arm's Length. It's a very skinny track, but with the frequency response. This one's very mellow. This one is very, very mellow. Track is entitled Gradations of Arm's Length. Drifting Time Misplaced. That one has to be interesting. Hold on. I gotta hear this track a little more. Oh shit. So this track was entitled Drifting Time Misplaced. Hold on, let me... This goes back to what I said about the way he frequencies. He isolates the frequencies. Like with the lower registers of the keys. The way the distortion rings out. And that's... I mean, you can hear it. I mean, let me check these minimal reactions I have on Facebook. Filippo Paris, I haven't seen you around in a long time, my friend. Dude, I hope you're doing well. I might just pour up another glass of this sake just for you, brother. Not that I'm drunk enough already. So this one's really interesting. I like the way it kind of... The higher registers, what I've noticed is his frequencies, what I'm picturing is whatever delay effect he used, the lower end has a frequency cutoff where it disappears into the lower end frequency and melts into a bass. But the higher end frequency, the sizzly frequencies, they're melting upwards like a resonance cutoff filter. What I'm trying to say, I'm a little bit of screwed up in every way to Sunday right now, but honestly, that's how I describe it really. From a producer perspective, when I'm not this stupid, that's what I think is happening with the keys, the registers and the frequencies. This is what's called being too drunk to hold your own fucking bottles without clanking the hell out of them. But that track is nice, but it's also a little bit longer. I appreciate that the track lengths differ so much, because the shorter ones seem to be like bursts of thoughts or grasps onto reality that the character we've created in our brain, other than just ourselves living the audio interpretation, which is fucking horrifying. If you have to listen to it and think of yourself as dealing with dementia, it's a very terrifying experience. Would not recommend, but it does get a lot more intense. Stage 5 is probably the scariest one. But through here, Burning Despair Does Ache. This one's got a very painful vibe to it. Stage 3 has some zingers for sure. Let me go to Burning Despair Does Ache. Oh, this one just hurts. This track hurts. Oh. Shouts to Oni, came here for VR Excalibur. Tomorrow that might be the move. I gotta move my computer all the way into the living room, and that's when the VR magic really happens. Otherwise, this is the VR porn cave. VR Excalibur soon come to a neighborhood near you by Tuesday. Yeah, this track hurts. Like, at this point, the album becomes a lot more painful because you can feel the confusion settling in. And Sha. Sha. I'm gonna be flinging my spider things all the way through VR tomorrow. Yeah, right? Man, Oni, you come to America sometime, you gotta come over to my humble little apartment here in Norman. And we need to hook you up on some VR and some good liquor and good shui, and just have some music sessions as well. I hope I get to meet you in Nightmare at some point. This track is discombobulating. Shit. Okay, so by my judgment, it's time to set alcohol aside because I'm starting to get that right eye twinge right now where I like to keep it closed. That means I'm too fucking drunk. This track is crazy. And just the way it repeats and delays out, just hell, even hold on. Oh wow, like the way that kind of kind of reminds me of Guitar Rig 5, sort of the effects you could get through Guitar Rig 5. That's producer talk though. I got to keep it a little more out of the technical talk because I feel like this, just as a raw album, the idea that's being conveyed is so powerful that you just got to witness it. That's all there is to that. Shouts to Oni once again, man. Can't wait for that Monsters stream, August 2nd. An Empty Bliss Beyond This World. Now these tracks, the ones about the empty blisses, they're pretty good. They're pretty good. We're at least gonna sample the first 30 seconds, if not the first minute, or a minute and 30. This is a really good track. Duh. See, now you feel like the tracks are melting together and becoming less formed. They're more formless than formed. Ooh. Ooh. Da, da, da. I don't know, I swear, throughout the review, if I spoke on how much I appreciate the frequency, shaping, whatever it is that he does with the filtering of how the frequencies delay out as individual frequencies, then I would probably get that shit plastered on a t-shirt that says, I appreciate frequencies delayed within a certain millisecond range. There's something about the stereo separation of that fucking, of the method this man uses. There's something about it. The Caretaker, you are one crazy guy. I don't know, it's like the track just keeps on resetting on these off notes. And it perfectly doesn't make sense. If I was smart, I would buy myself a pop filter, but instead, nah, that probably fucks with the audio quality. Whoever, the one person tuned into the Facebook live stream, could you tell me if this makes the mic significantly quieter, or does it really help filter out the pops? I need to get myself an official pop filter, I know, but
I had to buy a mini fridge today, so my funds are set back. Otherwise, does the mic sound nice this way? This is the problem with having liquor sitting this close to you. You keep on wanting to sip, but you can't sip. You gotta take a break. Take a break. You gotta stop. Now, this track is of course pretty good, but there's a lot more to explore with this album. Way more. Let me see. Limit delay. Let me hear just a little bit of what this sounds like. Throughout each stage, you're becoming more disconnected. This one has some nice little notes of melody in it though, like the way they blend together, the way they melt together like butter. Oh wow, yeah, you know what? I should have figured that mission mask would sound pretty clear still. Shit's melting so good on this part. Ooh. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna take your word, Oni. I bet this probably sounds just fine. Da, da. Da, 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 da. God, man, you know, this track feels like it's just confusion steering in so many directions. It's just left to right to up to down. It's just like things that we are very familiar and comfortable with in the stage one start to become so unapparent. But Libet Delay, Libet in general is such a good track, like just the way it's structured. By now it becomes kind of beautiful in its own right, that you're letting go of something, you know. So let me rewind this. This is a little bit of a 555 without the dubstep you know, context. I gotta hear how this delays out one more time. Man, I like the way those keys come in and just reverse and right now it's feeling kind of dissonant, but that's that sweet spot it hits, like right about here. Right about here. Da, da. Oh, it's trying so hard to stay together. The memory is coming apart so thickly. So, Oni, you might be a little bewildered by what you're hearing right now, but this album, or the stages 1 to 6, is completely about the stages of falling into dementia, to the point where you stop recognizing yourself, your things around you, and you die from just everything becomes irrelevant before you die. Right here, right here, right here, right there, right there. It's just a little bit before that, just right here. It's like that little structure when it just melts in to the confusion. It's like the last glimpse of hope. Honestly, this track is like the last glimpse of hope, man. To me, that's what it feels like. It's too damn good. It's like the phrase and the sentence of this musical structure right here is segmented in just a way that's just so just subtly uncomforting. And the tracks like end more abruptly, I've noticed. Like they will hardly fade out before the next one starts. This one's pretty damn good. Mournful Camaraderie. But it's a relatively short one. By stage 4, this is the last one on stage 3. I might just want to give you guys, well, in this case, probably just Oni, a moment to kind of just relax before shit becomes dumb hectic. Because stage 4 is, there's about nothing melodic about it. So, you know, Oni, this is really such a puzzling album to me because I haven't really looked into how the Caretaker goes about producing. And you know what? I just realized my whole goddamn bald spot over here was showing. So, yeah, I got a balding spot. I'm supposed to keep hair like brushed over it, but I just realized how obvious that shit was in the stream. But oh well, my curses. I'm cursed, but not really. I hope not. But yeah, this guy, the way he works with his DAW and shit, it just, I don't even think it's a DAW though. Like, I think it's raw playback. I think the way, so this producer, the Caretaker, has been around since 1999. And that's the days of Aphex Twin. Aphex Twin was very involved with hardware, and he still is to this day. Aphex Twin Cyro, Cyro was one of his latest albums. He just did all hardware for that thing. So good, so good. Like, if I even went about reviewing that album, I'd feel pointless because it's a big album and it's very well known. Aphex Twin is a big, well-known artist, but the guy is just, they come from that same spectrum of era, and it's about hardware. This was made just a year ago, though. I don't know if he's still dedicated to hardware, but like, there's something you can feel in the audio that's just different. Obviously you picked up on that too whenever you said a DAW, if at all. Ooh, okay, this is the part where shit gets a little bit scary. So I can, what I'm picking up here in this just first little bit of stage 4. So let's take a moment, just a little moment, to identify what's going on here in the artwork. You can see this human being is being erased. They're being scraped away, is what it looks like. The way the paint is just forming out from the head. Once again, let's big up the artwork providers. I'm bigging up Ivan Sil on this beautiful artwork. I'm hearing hints of the first track that started off stage 1 in this album, but it's unfolded, it's distorted, it's mending and melding with other memories. At this point, I think chaos is really starting to settle in, and stage 4 just has a very different way of naming its tracks. Stage 4 not only has longer than 2 to 5 minute tracks, about 30 minutes. It's about anywhere from 20 minutes to 30 minutes by stage 4, and that goes all the way through to stage 6. So at this point, the album is sitting at its most experimental level. And that's not to imply stage 1s to 3 weren't experimental already, but it's just crazy now. Stage 4, post-awareness stage 4, is where serenity and the ability to recall singular memories gives way to confusions and horror. It's the beginning of an eventful process where all memories begin to become more fluid through entanglements, repetition, and rupture. Now, the way the tracks are titled by stage 4, in my opinion, are fucking insane. Stage 4, post-awareness confusion. Stage 4, post-awareness confusions. Stage 4, temporary bliss state. Now, I think that's probably one of the most beautiful tracks on stage 4. One of my favorite tracks from stage 4 for sure, but the rest of stage 4 is just haunting. I think it's probably the first track in stage 5 that is the scariest shit I think I've heard, and it's just because it sounds like it's squealing and crying the song. That's hard. That's hard. That's very, 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 very heavy. It's like the memory itself is dying. But the memories are going to become more confused. They're going to become more jumbled and insane just as the album goes. Yeah, whenever I first peeped this album, I didn't know what I was getting into with this collection here. It's a wonder I can even sit here at this late in the night and puzzle like what I'm experiencing when I listen to this album, like to even describe it in words, because this album fucks me up deep inside. You think about the level of confusion that's settling into someone by this level of dementia. I'm gonna be quiet for a moment. I'm just gonna let this play for about another minute or so. Big ups if you're tuned in. It's the Monday night experimental albums stream with the Repulsion music. I hope you boys are doing well wherever you are here in the world. There's something just so dissonant about this part that the dissonance is like the perfect level of dissonant. It's like watching a rose lose its petals. It's like watching a rose die. That's what this part feels like to me. God, it is haunting. It is haunting. Wow. So I'm telling you, this is one of those albums that you gotta listen to with a left and right. You can't just listen to it with one earbud in or on with one speaker even. There's just details from the right and left in the stereo separation. You can hear there's literally 2 tracks playing from one side, like one's on the left, one's on the right, and they interject and uninterject, and it's just a mixed convoluted mess of memories. And that's I gotta bring that one out. I'm like, if we listen to that any longer, we ourselves will like feel too much of what this guy is feeling, if however you interpret it, because it could be you know, like this is the most perfect like audible representation I think I've heard of dementia so far, and I haven't even had contact with anyone who's dealt with it before until I like really started researching it and seeing what all is involved with how crazy and hellish but blissful it becomes, you know. By stage 4, it's confusion. It's mostly confusion. By stage 5, it's fear, because whenever you remember things, when dementia, it becomes scary, because you realize you're losing yourself, you know. And that's what is really beautiful about stage 4. And yeah, enough rambling. This one's stage 4, temporary bliss state. This one's probably my favorite. This one's just a little structure of beautiful harmonious bits melting into each other. Granulizer Supreme. This man knows how to use a granulizer if I've ever heard a producer use one. Oh. You know, now that I'm looking at it and I'm seeing kind of another little detail here with the paint, the way it divots in towards the top of the nose, it almost looks like there's an eye there. And you can see just the little vague shape of an eyebrow. It's like a little tiny slanted rectangle. Like expressionist abstract art is a trip within itself. Once again, shouts to Ivan Blake, I believe it was his name. Ivan Seal. No, that isn't even close. Seal doesn't sound anything like Blake, I don't think. Man. So this track is just dancing all around your head in every direction, just... Wow. Track's good, but also 30 minutes long, so not gonna wear you guys out. Stage 4, post-awareness confusions. This one is the last one on it. We're gonna have a little bit of a dip into that, and I'm going to, for my own good, not drink any more alcohol. I'm gonna take a dab. This one is very eerie. This is the 4th level of it too. Yeah, hey, shouts to Ali Was. Welcome. Thanks for being up this late. I'm quite drunk and about to take another one. And we're on stage 4 of this beautiful dimension nightmare that is the Caretaker everywhere at the end of time. And as a quick little breakdown, this album is about from stage 1 to stage 6, going through dementia from the very early stages of hearing music you remembered whenever you're in your golden era, your golden age of life, and then seeing it slowly dissipate and turn into a mishmash of craziness and confusion that leads into horror. And stage 4 in particular is when shit gets very messy. This one, The Caretaker, Everywhere at the End of Time, stage 4, final track. I'm gonna grab a dab real fast. Yeah, so once again, the stereo separation is so on point with this. It's perfect because like each frequency, once again, this goes with the frequency shaping. There's another thing with frequencies being separated, which just goes with panning, and that's sort of what I can hear the Caretaker taking use of here, as well as just the way the memories are placed in the brain, sort of as like a logical explanation for why the artistic value is placed there in stage 4. Did I just have a stroke saying that? Because I felt like I had a stroke. Stage 5 is when shit gets very scary. Once again, let me reiterate that stage 5 is fucking terrifying. Stage 4, you're just really getting a somber recollections of your memory going out of the window. So it's about to get bad. Yeah. Insomnia is pretty bad at this time of night. Now, once again, stage 4, the stage 6 is when shit gets like dummy long. So here at stage 5, let's just take a moment to familiarize ourselves with the artwork here on stage 5. Which, might I add, there is nothing to really get familiar with because there's nothing to be recognized in this image other than possibly a ballet dancer sitting on top of a abstract, formless shape that looks kind of like a staircase, in my opinion, and it's melting into clouds and smoke. Now, this is artwork that's Ivan, Mr. What's her name? Ivan Sill. This is the one dude I can't remember his name in the entire video. But Ivan Sill with this beautiful, 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 beautiful artwork. Stage 5. The first track is the fucking scariest. Let's go, bitch. So by stage 5, track titles are Stage 5, Advanced Plaque Entanglements, Stage 5, Advanced Plaque Entanglements, Stage 5, Synapse, Retrogenesis, Stage 5, Sudden Time Regression into Isolation. Yeah, this is more like medical terms than any sort of human contact. Right now you're really dissolving into just nothing. You're becoming less and less of a person, an existing thing. Your mental state is so detached that you can only scope the tiniest bits of what you once were. Okay, let me show some appreciation once again. The way this part reverbs out and the way the granulizer, well, the only way it can really be described, the effect that's happening right here, is a granulizer. It's whenever you take a part of a track and you like start shifting it to other parts. That's for the non-producers that are tuned in, which I think everybody here is a producer. I assume Allie is the only one watching this right now. What is that you say? Renaissance looking fancy pants lady. Right. Honestly, not even sure what I'm looking at either. It looks like there's this giant tumor on her right side too whenever she's lifting her leg up there. I can still see faces in this artwork. I can still see some like face with giant bulbs on it, like at the top. Oh my, and the shift in color in the artwork is very disorienting too. It's like the contrast is very heavy. There is a part in stage 5 right here. I think it's on this track though. It's either this part is horrific, man. This shit's horrific. Oh god. Oh god. It's just the familiarity I've had with stage 1. It's like right now it's I can't imagine. God damn. this part of the album makes... Now, this part of the collection of albums always gives me the most anxiety. This shit... Nah, composition number 9 by the Beatles ain't got shit on this. I'm just gonna say that. That's the only meme I'm throwing out for this one. See, so here's what's trippy about stage 5. The tracks don't even have just one sound. They're constantly evolving within themselves. Like, they're not just a fairly repetitive vapor wavy type bit or like an old lo-fi hip-hop sort of sampled like loop. Now, I think... sorry, I need to think. Give me a second. So anyways, there's this really beautiful little stem off of vaporwave when it's just sampled music that's looped, and it's a very ambiguous side of this type of electronic music that's outside of the clubby spectrum, but I've noticed that that's what this album built itself off of. But it also built itself off of fucking horror like this. Now, this feels like mental, like, torture, but it's in a weird way morbidly... I was morbidly curious about this album. Like, by stage 5, I couldn't not be doing something while listening to this. I was going around the house trying to find other things to do while listening to this, because I feared this part of the album, or the collection of albums, so much that whenever I first heard this track, I was just like, this is honestly too much to deal with, because it felt like my brain was scrambling in the same kind of way. Cheers, lads and laddies. Lassies, I mean. Let me skip forward just a little bit, because like I said, 30-minute long ass tracks. I gotta find this one part though. This is a must find. There's so much texture evolution in this track. That's the only way I could describe it, but there's a particular part that... Was it right here? So you can hear it in the resonance, like in the background. It's like you can hear something. Like it sounds like it's whimpering. Like at this point, the instruments are almost unidentifiable. You can like, it sounds like vocals, but it's just instruments in the background that are just so distorted you can't even like make out what the difference is. I don't know, like, it's like, you can hear noises, just surface noise, bended so heavily that it itself almost embodies a track. And noise, the difference between noise and music at this point is so thin, the line is so thin that it you know, like, that's what I think, like, this track, or, well, not the track itself, but the whole album concept from stage 1 to 6 was about somebody from about that era in 1920. And that's, it was someone who was born in that era, at least. Someone who's very old in this time. And the way the dementia spreads, and whenever you're introduced to it from stage 1 is something that you just know about. You listen to it and you can see it, that you can hear it deteriorating up to stage 5. That journey from stage 1 to stage 6 is so personal. You can't walk away from this set of albums unscathed. Like, I'm dead serious. I was damaged in a really crazy way by this whole stage 1 to 6. It made me change my perspective about death and losing contact with reality. Now, I'm gonna go forward a little bit because I don't know if this one has. So it wasn't there, but it sounds like train horns. I think it's towards the end of the track, really. Maybe it was track 2 on stage 5. Could have been, but I don't want to miss it because it's a very, it kind of, one particular sound just fucked me up the most. Like, it was one dissonant sound over another dissonant sound, and it provoked some sort of feeling that made me feel like crying straight up, like on the spot. Like, the shit was like terrifying to listen to. It's a little bit ahead. Nah, it might be track 2 actually, if I haven't heard it by now. Oh, this has to be when it happens. Now this one is, this track is just tucked into all kinds of places, but oh god. I can't. I knew what was gonna happen. I knew what was gonna happen by stage 5. I was gonna be caught in such a loop of confusion with the audio that let me. This got me fucked up. Oh god. Oh god. The right side just sounds like it's squealing. It's definitely on the come up. I can definitely, it's upcoming for sure. Oh. Oh my god. Oh, it just feels like the feeling of melting. Like everything making sense, just becoming so distant. It's already so blurred, you can't even tell what the fuck is going on. Let me. There's that part. It's probably ahead. It's probably ahead on this track. But I gotta keep listening out for that little part on it. There's a part when it's just squealing so hard. It sounds like it's straight up just crying, man. Like you can hear parts that are so mangled around this part of this track. It might be a little farther ahead though. Actually may have even been the third track. I'm gonna give the third track a thorough listen. This one is a little different from the other ones in stage 5. It's Synapse Retrogenesis, stage 5 Synapse Retrogenesis, where as everything before it's been advanced plaque entanglements leading up to sudden time regression into isolation, and by stage 6 you're basically a potato. So yeah, hold tight for that one. It's nice and depressing, and you might cry at the end because yeah, you'll see. $2x clanks for this stream. That's a clank clank. Everybody give it up for the Goblet Chalice, taking on all the sake tonight. Now it's like becoming such a somber, a distant and somber thing. It's like the tracks almost just can't be identified. It's just within itself a whole nother, you know, there's a lot of good dark ambient and drone albums. This reminds me of one that I particularly like by Arctica or something like that, and the album is called Genesis. I used to listen to it while writing my book all the time. It just has so much depth. Drone and dark ambient in general is a very underappreciated genre in my opinion. But it's, in a weird sense, kind of highly appreciated because it's found its way in so many forms of media. And right now in the album, it's like we're becoming detached from all that worrying, horror, confusion, and we're in the downhill sort of stroke, and we're on the way into oblivion. That's all I can say. Yeah. Please forgive me for being a drunk retard. While I let you guys simmer with some of this beautiful dark ambient bits of it, I'm gonna go run this sake back to the fridge, and Probably gonna keep sipping on my sparkling kombucha. See you in a second. Shouts to Ali Was. Let me on full screen this, check my mic level. Yep. Yeah, looks like I'm feeding through. I muted the mic before I left, and I wanted to make sure that you guys could still hear me. My little dumplings, my little chicken dumplings, you. So I'm not sure who else is tuned into this stream. I know Ali Was has been. Cheers to you, obviously. Whoever else is tuned into the stream, cheers to you. I'm enjoying my time with you guys as well. It's almost 4 in the morning here as well, so I think the ride out on this album is gonna be perfect. And greets to the third that just joined in on the live video, whoever you may be. The space by this track and this stage, the space and like I like that. I like those little interjections too. It's like very barely clinging, like the smallest scrapes of recollection, even like trying to dart in. It's like they can't make themselves apparent. It's impossible. At this point, the memory loss is so extreme and so deep that you can't really recollect anything that's coherent. Oh, it's so good. So good. It's like looking down into a pit of like what could have been. I mean, very slowly, very slowly bring this one out. Better yet, sudden time regression into isolation. I'm just gonna go back just one here, because right here, it was probably right about it's that those little horns you hear getting distorted over the top. But the way I just even listening to this from like an overview of a skipping through kind of thing, like I'm not really that invested. You can hear audibly. This one is the one that we're going to listen to next. It's called Sudden Time Regression into Isolation. And this is one of the most intense ending ones. Hey, shouts to Oliver of Bass Clash. Welcome, brother. It's almost 4 in the morning over here. Good morning to you, my good friend. If I do sound like I'm drunk, it's because I'm drunk. So this is the last even residue of memory that we're having. Now Oliver, I hate to have to explain this every time a new guy joins, but this is a stage, like a 6-stage album that isn't really an album. It's more like multiple albums that's 6 hours and 30 minutes long. That's a representation of falling into dementia. That starts with music that makes sense, that slowly deforms in the music, and visual artwork that doesn't make sense either. Stuff you can't name because it's based off of a disease where you just lose contact and all relevance becomes irrelevant, and it's really horrific, honestly. But I've listened to this whole collection of albums over the course of 2 days and figure this is probably the best and most raw way to go about reviewing it. So far, I think it's been a victory for me. Something I'm finally doing right these days. Cheers to you, my guy. I hope you have a good Tuesday. About to be Tuesday for me too. Over here in America. This is you can just barely, it's just mostly air. It's like the music itself is so tucked within the static that so, yes, Oliver, great question. The artist is The Caretaker, and he's a British electronic producer that's been around since at least 1999. So he was within the phases of Aphex Twin as well, but he seemed to just have his own little spin on this electronic music thing. He goes under like 4 or 5 different aliases. Very mysterious guy. This album has got some crazy traction just for being released 1 year ago. It's got 1 million hits on YouTube, like already. March 14th, 2019. Posted by the guy himself, VVM Test. That's another one of his alter aliases. I'm very interested in his music. It straight up does sound like Psychosis, I won't lie. It does have a very Psychosis vibe to it. It sounds like standing within a cave too, like you're just stuck in a cave of darkness and like the droplets are like these little things you used to it's the residue coming off of the cave. It's just fucking just dropping like boo, boo. That's what all the reverbs are. You're just starting to become so isolated because that's what this last stretch is about anyways. Stage 6 is fucking just sad. Stage 6 on this thing is sad. I think I'm gonna have to fade this one out for the first track on stage 6. Okay. I want you guys to have a look at this album artwork. Think about how far we've came. This is not a laughing matter, of course. This is just me looking at this from a third-person perspective once again, to just understand the symbolism and what this means to be at this state as a fucking potato, as a human being. This is not just psychosis, this is just you, this is hardly dementia. Now the first track title on this fucking stage is the heaviest thing I think I've heard ever. Stage 6, first track, Q or O1, a confusion so thick you forget forgetting. I'm sorry, what? Could I hear that one more time? Could I get a will up on that ID one more time? A confusion so thick you forget forgetting. I don't think I've heard a track title that heavy in a long time. What does this sound like? moment of silence, please. Y'all better turn your lights down to this one. Tuning in, turn your lights down. Stage 6. Post-awareness stage 6 is without description. We've been going through descriptions since stage 1. Stage 6 is so blank. Once again, turn the lights down. Not only a confusion so thick, this is a darkness so thick that I couldn't comprehend it, like, as a mental state to be this lost. This is only the beginning of stage 6 too, like, there's hardly anything there. It feels like death is right at the door, like the death door is here, you know, right before you, and it was all leading up to this point. You knew that from stage 1, for as beautiful as it was, you knew that you were heading into this downward spiral that could only get worse. But oddly enough, there's some really blissful parts in stage 6, because being locked in a trance like that you just, everything's irrelevant. Like, it has to have some beautiful moments. That what really had me thinking that's the kind of depth of confusion you can fall into. Right, you are 100% right, Ellie. A brutal bliss beyond this empty defeat. Long decline is over. Place in the world fades away. These are the last 30-minute tracks on this stage, and they all are so beautiful in their own way. We might just sample each one before we ride out the end of this album, because we are on that hour of the night when only the ones that are really invested right now are staying around. It's like listening to something scrape along. It's
I'm sorry y'all had to see that. I didn't see that coming. There's something very deep in me that wanted to let that out. I don't know what it was. I don't know if that would happen on a second playthrough of this album or not. I guess I just didn't think about it. Fuck. Fuck. Fuck, dude. Oh god. Fuck. I need to get my shit together. Oh my god. I feel like a fucking mess right now over this fucking album. True Allie. I'm sending them hearts on back all over. This one needs a very slow fade out. I don't think I've ever been on film crying until tonight. If I even knew that was gonna happen, I don't even know if I would have hit stream, to be honest. This one is called A Brutal Bliss Beyond This Empty Defeat. Oh, Allie, it would be a genuinely good way to spend time listening to some deep, artistically motivated stuff. Like, it is definitely worth a digest. It is like a stage 1 to 6 thing. It's like 6 hours and 30 minutes long. You don't need to listen to it in one sitting, but over some time, just like the subject it represents, time, it really does settle in with you like time does. It's
kind of what this whole album has felt like to me. You know, it's like a time. It's a representation of time, a humble representation of just how fast you can slip from yourself. Shouts to you, Oliver, man. Have a good day at work, and I'll talk to you later, man. Peace out. I hope you get to check out the album and enjoy it to its biggest, to its hugest power, because holy damn, definitely a moving one. Take it easy, brother. The static is just so thick. Like, even the static becomes irrelevant. It's just everything's so slurred and slowed that you can't make out anything. It's like the irrelevance of irrelevance of irrelevance of irrelevance. That's what it feels like. And there's just a blank slate that can't be filled. It's blank and it's gonna be blank. Oh, why this whole stream, this whole review has felt like something I felt like in my very bosom, like my entire deep down I needed to do. This was the release I needed before I go into tomorrow. And then I disappear for another week or two. It's blissful. It's brutally blissful, I can say that much. It's a brutal bliss beyond this empty defeat. Because the struggle was... everything leading up to this was... It genuinely fucks me up, like when I go back to try and listen to stage 1 after listening to stage 6. It fucks me up so deep, because you're literally just reflecting on what led up to that. You always think about this part. You always think about this part. You think it's like this is coming at the end, and you don't want it to come. And it's like, because the first stages are the most happy, fulfilling, and like it's just at this point it's all destroyed. It's like watching a house. It's looking at a house that's burned down. It's all your memories just trashed, you know what I mean? This one, Long Decline is over. This one has some very beautiful bits in it. This one has some dumb beautiful bits. So this one's just a very, very long stretched out drone of like some of the most beautiful tracks we probably got from stage 1 and stage 2. Maybe even a little bit of stage 3. This one needs both headphones on. This one is absolutely beautiful. This is one of the last. This is what this track means to me, is imparting from your will, and this is imparting from your will to live, and finally abstaining from the will to live. The long decline is over is the ID on this one. It's a stage 6, 3rd track. Thank you, Ali. I hope you have a good night and hopefully not stressful day at work tomorrow. Take it easy, sleep well with what little time you got, and I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy. I hope you enjoy the album when you get around to it too. As well as for the other person that's tuned in, welcome. Not sure how long you've been here though, to be honest. Let's listen to this together. Oh my gosh. It's just so beautiful sometimes, man. Oh my god. Oh, it sounds so good. Oh, I recognize very deeply within it, I can recognize an old track. I can hear it's just so stretched out and so deformed and reverberated that most of the time people that weren't familiar with stage 1 wouldn't notice it. This was a collection of albums that were meant to be enjoyed within a period of time very close to one another. The familiarity you grow with it is so powerful that by stage 6 it can do so many things. It can just move you so deeply. Shit. It's all chipping away. It's all chipping away. It's just the embers burning off and fading away now. Blowing into the wind. Oh yeah. One more time for that downward key strike. Hold on. Oh, hold on. That needs a double wheel about 10 seconds behind. Let me hear that one more time. Oh my gosh. Oh. Oh. This album is so beautiful at this point. Oh, yeah. Oh, listen to that. Hold on. One more time. Oh, that press into that next one. Shit. The way this track melts together is so refined. Everything about this track is perfect. Giving me musical ideas there, guy. You're about to be one of them producers that inspires me to make the next 2021 banger, you know what I'm saying? iTunes, Spotify, Juno download, OnlyFans, Patreon, Indiegogo, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Not sure where that one was going. And I'm not talking about the song, I'm just talking about my links. Link and build. Long Decline is over, got some nice little bits in it though. Like it's hard to skip over this one. It's mostly just echoes and reverbs, but they're kind of nice. Nice little spacey track. Okay, so this one's a very important track. This is a very important track. This track here is called Place in the World Fades Away. And this is quite symbolic and important. So, let's go. The final track of the entire set. I like that little resonance on that, yeah. Where that echoes out. Shit. What else you got? It's a very slow start on this track, but by the middle point there's something that really catches your ear, and it makes you think at the end of it. These albums don't leave you unscathed. It's by the end of it you're left with this reminiscent thing. It really makes you think. Oh, yeah. Ooh. That flows. This one's such a slow build. This is where it really starts to clear out. You can just start hearing it clear out around here. Man, there's no one watching this stream. Why am I even concerned about skipping through this? I'm gonna enjoy this for my motherfucking self. That's right, bitch. YouTube exclusive content rip. Repulsion's a self-centered, egotistical asshat. Someone needs to put this motherfucker in his place. Bombard him. Take his sake away. Burn his house down. I'm gonna enjoy this for my motherfucking self. I can already hear like the resonance and the echo of tracks I remember from stage 1. Yep, that's unmistakably one of them. Da, 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 da. I recognized it. I could hear it even amongst the fog. Now that's nice. That is a nice little uplifter into that. Live probiotics for your health. There's something so beautifully nostalgic about this moment in this track. Like it's... Oh my gosh, that resonance when that part comes in, ooh. You can tell it's about to get wild. I know what's coming up, but do you know what's coming up? Probably not. Let's have a listen. Go forward just a little bit. Now it's starting to sound a little bit more like a chapel. At this point it started sounding a bit more like a chapel. Man, just imagine being this deep. That's crazy. It's crazy. 100% a crazy concept. Let alone a crazy thing that's actually happened to people. Sounds haunting. Like it really sounds haunting for sure at this point in the album. But it's oddly beautiful. I don't know how you even go about making shit that sounds like this, man. It's constantly evolving and melting and changing and morphing and bonking and twisting and smacking and humping and dumping and knucking and bucking and button and fucking. I don't know how you go about it. It's just crazy. Do you take like 2 Lego bricks, smash them together, and this is the part that matters. This part matters a lot. Very important. What's so subtle here? That distortion, that amount of distortion on the song. I'll explain to you what this particular part of the album means as soon as we get it done. It's a very tragic twist. This part of the album is a very... Oh, wow. Oh. Knuckleheads. Man, now this is a token of peace, let alone a token of memory that shit. Oh my god. The movement into that register. No, one more time. I just gotta hear that. Oh, I know what I'm doing with that. Bang. See you, Space Cowboy. Oh, right. Still in the stream. Gotta wait. So, now that the album is officially over, let me explain what exactly happened there in that last bit. So, it's gonna ride out on just silence until the album is inevitably quote-unquote finished on YouTube. But that last track, that last little bit of coherent track that we got there, that song we got, that was only and simply just a representation of the last bit of things that we do remember, and that is your favorite song, the song you loved the most, or the song you liked, and it occurs to you as the very last memory you have when you're suffering from dementia just before you die. And that was the symbolism at the end of that album there. Now, the delivery is so much heavier when you listen to it all the way from stage 1 to stage 6. We've, of course, skimmed through it. Basically, this motherfucking pansy motherfucker cried on... This motherfucking pansy-ass motherfucker cried on stream like an idiot, bro. Like, I didn't see that. I didn't foresee that even happening whatsoever, but here I am. And, yeah. It's 4:30 or 4:40 in the morning over here, and I'm probably gonna do one more thing and head off to sleep at some point. So see you on the flip. Thank you for tuning in. If you didn't tune in, smell you later. Bye.